As I discussed in part one, there was a lot of conversation around if Meghan would call in from Canada for the meeting at Sandringham. In the piece I discussed from my first video, what the editor at large wrote in this piece was that while the Queen was not opposed to Skype or any sort of call-in, for clarity's sake, she thought it was best just for the people in the room to be a part of the conversation. There were people in my comments claiming that, of course the Queen did that. She just knew that that rascally Meghan Markle was going to be recording the conversation. I don't buy that. Remember, it's 2020. At that point, Harry and Meghan are still trying to figure out what their future is going to look like and if they are going to be able to find a half-in, half-out solution and be part-time working royals. There's no Oprah interview yet. There's no book. There's no documentary. And I would argue that even with those things, while I respect that for some, it was too much. It was an invasion, and that there are some people in Harry's life that will never forgive him for that. Acting like they were hot mic'd at all time and spilled the juiciest of the juicy secrets, like, let's be real. You know there's better out there. But there's another reason I don't quite buy it. The thing I wonder is how much was attributed to the Queen later in life that was actually done by her palace aides. I do wonder how much the courtiers were running the show by the end. Even if you are healthy and sharp as a whip, getting into your 90s is hard on anyone. Here's an article that made me go, Friday, January 17th, 2020. Headline, real reason Queen refused meeting with Harry before Sandringham Summit revealed. So the headline says that the Queen refused a meeting with Harry. Later in the piece, it says a royal expert revealed the real reason behind the Queen's aides' insistence that the meeting should not go ahead, meaning a meeting between the Queen and Harry prior to any sort of summit. Here's what the Daily Mirror royal editor, Russell Myers, had to say. Quote, Harry had asked for a meeting with the Queen after the Christmas period, after they had returned from their trip to Canada. He was told that couldn't happen. Some of the courtiers were particularly worried that because he has such a great relationship with his grandmother, that he would wrap her round his little finger. He goes on to say that, quote, that she would potentially give in to his demands without anybody there. So is the title saying that the real reason the Queen refused is because her courtiers refused the meeting and blocked it from happening? Because they didn't trust her ability to navigate the meeting alone? It also makes you wonder if they've had experience with this before with another alleged favorite twisting his mother around his sweatless fingers. I remember that Harry wrote about this in Spare. Let's see what he said. In Spare, Harry recounts that he rang his grandmother on January 3rd. He told her that he and Meghan were coming back to Britain and he would love to talk with her. He said that they hoped to discuss a plan of a different working arrangement. She was obviously not pleased, but she knew how unhappy they were. According to Harry, he asked if she's free. She says, yes, of course, I'm free all week. The diary is clear. He says, that's great. Meghan and I can come up for tea and then drive back to London. We have an engagement at Canada House the next day. As the couple are boarding the flight in Vancouver, he gets a note from their staff, who received a note from the B, who is Sir Edward Young, Queen Elizabeth II's last private secretary, informing him that his grandmother would not be able to see him. According to Harry, the note says that initially Her Majesty thought this would be possible. It will not. The Duke of Sussex cannot come to Norfolk tomorrow. Her Majesty will be able to arrange another meeting this month. No announcements about anything shall be issued until such a meeting takes place, i.e. the Sandringham Summit. Harry turns to Meghan and says, they're blocking me from seeing my own grandmother. Fast forward, they arrive in the UK, they go to Frogmore Cottage. Harry picks up the phone, rings his grandmother. He says, hi, I'm so sorry. I must have misunderstood you the other day when you said you didn't have anything going on today. And she said, according to him, something came up that I wasn't aware of. Harry claims that her voice sounded strange. Harry says, well, can I pop in tomorrow then, Granny? She says, well, I'm busy all week. According to Harry, she added, that was what the bee told her. Harry said, is he in the room with you now? According to Harry, she doesn't answer. Obviously, this is just one point of view that you have to take with a grain of salt. But if you take this into consideration, with an article like this, that quotes a royal editor at the time saying that palace aides did not want Harry to meet with his grandmother beforehand because they feared that he would find a way to work his magic or whatever, and the Queen would be susceptible to giving in to Harry's demands or whatever. The Sandringham Summit only happens a week and a half later. They want time to put together a meeting to schedule a summit on their terms. Whether it was planned this way or not, they wait a week and a half or so, and by that time, Meghan is flying home to be reunited with baby Archie. Which makes sense. He can't be more than maybe 7, 8 months old at that point. And who knows what would have happened if Harry and Meghan had an opportunity to sit down and speak with the Queen before an official summit. I'm not sure the outcome would have changed. At this point, I don't think a part-time working royal solution would have ever really been on the table. But I'm also not really convinced that the Queen was really controlling things all that much near the end, which is not said out of disrespect. It's quite sad. More to come.